Hey guys, this is Sidra. Welcome to my YouTube channel Educate with Sidra. In this video, we will cover the chapter number 5 of O1 Chemistry, that is Atomic Structure. So please don't forget to subscribe my channel and click on the bell icon. So let's start the video. Okay, now we have discussed the isotope of carbon. Okay, in the previous slide. Now isotope of oxygen. Okay, so there are three stable isotope of oxygen. O16, that is 90 exist in nature in 99.76%, and the other isotope is O17, and the other isotope is O18, 16, 17 and 18. So these are the three isotopes of oxygen. So you can draw the structure of that by yourself. Okay, now next is isotope of chlorine. There are two isotopes of chlorine, that is 35 and 17, and the other is 37 and 17. Okay, it means this thing that proton is 17, mass number is 35, and neutron is 18. How it calculated the 18? 35 minus 17. Okay. And what about this chlorine? The second one is proton number is again 17 and mass number is 37. So number of neutron will be 20. That is 37 minus 17, as we have studied the formula in the previous slide. Okay. Now the isotope of uranium. There are three isotope of uranium. Uranium 234, and this is the proton number 92. Uranium 235 and having the proton number again 92, and uranium 238. Okay, this is the uranium 238 found in nature as 99%. Okay, so what about the first uranium? The proton is 92. So now what is the mass number? Mass number is 234. So atomic number, what will be the atomic number? Yes, 92, because atomic number is basically the proton number. Okay, number of protons. So how will you calculate the neutron? That is 234 minus 234 minus 92. That will be 142. Okay. Okay. Now the uranium 235 proton is again 92. Okay. How many neutron? That will be 143. That is 235 minus 92. Okay. Now the third isotope of uranium 238, proton is 92, and how many neutron? Just calculate. Come on, calculate yourself. Yeah, that is 238 minus 92. That will be 146. Okay. So this is the isotope. We have discussed isotope of hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, chlorine, and uranium. Okay, do practice yourself. Okay. Okay. Next topic is shell versus subshells. What is the difference between shell and subshell? Okay. First, shell. Basically, it is the all possible path on which electron revolve around the nucleus called orbit or shells or energy levels. Okay, it may be known as orbits, shells or energy levels. Okay, they all are same things, and it is a pattern in which the electron revolve around the nucleus. Okay, and basically it is having the or we can say it's a group of atomic orbitals with the same value of principal quantum number. Okay, and it is a collection of subshells. Okay, having a or we can say the collection of subshells. Right, and configuration of atom labeled as K, L, M, N and so on with the principal quantum number. Quantum number is denoted by N with the principal quantum number of 1. N is equal to 1 for K, for L is 2, for M is 3, for N is 4 and respectively. Okay, and there are so many orbits. Okay, Okay. And the shell close to the nucleus has the minimum energy. You have to remember this thing. The shell close to the nucleus has the minimum energy. Okay, now what is subshell? Subshells is, we can say, the orbitals within a shell are divided into within a shell are divided into subshells having the same angular quantum number. Okay. Orbitals within a shell are divided into subshell having same angular quantum number, like quantum number like 2p, it's like that. Okay. And we have studied the shells are represented by KLMN and the subshells are represented by SPDF. This is a subshell. Okay. So it is the basically subshells are the collection of orbital with the angular quantum number. Okay. Angular momentum quantum number is basically defined as L. So for S, L will be is equal to 1. For P, L will be equal to 2. It's like that. Okay. The principal quantum number is denoted by N, small n here, and the angular quantum momentum quantum number will be denoted by L, that is small l. Okay, so this is all about the difference between shell and subshell. Okay. Next is the figure. You can see n is equal to 1, that is first shell. For first shell, the maximum number of, you have to memorize this thing, okay. For first shell, the shell number 1, the maximum number of electron will be 2. Okay. For the, like this, if it is the nucleus, this is the first orbit, for example, first shell, so the maximum number of electron will be 2. And for the second shell, this is the second shell, so the maximum number of electron will be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's like that. Okay. For the third shell, it is 18. For the fourth shell is 32. Right? Now, next is, there are 4 subshell, like subshells are only 4, that is SP, D and F. There are only 4 subshells, SP, D and F, and each subshell can hold a different number of electron. Okay, for S, the number of electron will be 2. For P, that will be number of electron will be 6. For D is 10, and for F is 14. Okay. Right. Now, next is, for example, if shell, this is the first shell having the subshell of 1s, then the total number of electrons will be 2. If the second shell having the subshells of having 2 subshells like S and P, so we can say this 2 is basically this is the shell number 2, so this is the number 2. Okay, so it has 2 subshell, that is 2s and 2p. So how many electrons in S? For electron S, we already know this thing, electron will be 2, and for P the electron will be 6. So 2 plus 8 will be 2 plus 6 will be equal to 8. Okay, that's why you see this thing, the first shell is 2 and for the second shell is 8. Okay. Now, third shell having 3 subshells like 3s, 3p, 3d. So it means S 2, P 6 and D 10. So how many? 2 plus 6 plus 10, that will be 18. So this is the third subshell. Okay. And what about the fourth subshell? Fourth shell. It means it has 4 subshell, 4s, 4p, 4d, 4f. The maximum number electron 2, that is for S, 6 for P, 10 for D, 14 for F. So 2 plus 6 plus 10 plus 14 will be 32. You can see this thing here. That will be the 32 fourth shell. Okay, so this is all about the shell versus subshells. The shells are KLMN, that is first shell, second shell, third shell, fourth shell, KLMN. Okay, and the maximum number of electron will be 2, 8, 18, 32. How many subshell? 4 subshell, SPDF, right? So this is all about the shell versus subshell. I hope you understand about this shell versus subshell, because this is very important. You have to do the exercise as well for this. Okay. Now the next topic is electronic configuration for sodium. Okay, we are discussing here the sodium. What is electronic configuration? It basically shows the number of electron in each cell separated by a comma without spaces. Okay, I should try the definition here. Number of electrons in each shell separated by commas without spaces. So what will be the electronic configuration? Electronic configuration based on electron. Remember this thing, okay? Not the proton and electron, neutron, okay? 11 electron. So 11 electron means we have to see this thing. For first subshell, it's 2. For the second subshell is 8. And for the third subshell is 18. Right? This is the maximum number of electron of shell. So 2, 8, not 18, because 8 plus 2 is 10, and one more electron, that will be the 1, that is last shell. Okay, so 2, 8, 1. This is electronic configuration of this. Okay, so first fill the lowest energy level, then fill the next energy level in order of increasing energy. Okay, right? Acha, one more thing I want to tell you. For the first shell, then the maximum number of electron is 2. It is also known as duplet. We can say this duplet. And for the second shell, the maximum electron is 8. It means octet. So in sodium, duplet is also completed and octet is also completed. Okay. And for example, neon has the full octet. Okay. If the so sodium is not the octet, sodium is not the duplet, because it has one more electron as well in the third shell, right? We can say neon has the full octet. Okay, it has a configuration of 2, 8 only. Okay, it has the second subshell completed. You can see the first shell is 2, second shell 8, and the third shell 18. So we have 2 plus 8, 10, and one more from this. So that will be 2 plus 8 plus 1, that will be the 11. So sodium has 11 electron, and the electronic configuration is mentioned here. Okay. Okay, next topic is relative atomic mass. What is the relative atomic mass? It is represented by AR. In order to ensure the consistency, atomic mass of all the isotope are compared to a reference isotope. For example, and this isotope, the reference isotope, normally taken as carbon C12. The reason of taking C12 as a reference isotope is that it is the commonest form of carbon and is present in almost all the organic compounds. Okay. Commonest form of carbon that is present in all the organic compound. And most isotopes do not have the mass that is multiple of 12. So standard will be taken as 1 divided by 12th mass of carbon C12, that is, which is 1, which is equal to 1. Okay. So most isotopes do not have the mass that is multiple of 12. So standard will be taken as 1 divided by 12th mass of carbon 12, that is only 1. So we can say example, 1 atom of isotope of oxygen 16 is 16 times heavier than 112 mass of an atom of carbon 12. So its relative atomic mass is, So the relative atomic mass will be the 16. The relative atomic mass always taken as a whole number. It should be a whole number. Okay. Right. Now we have an example. Natural abundance requires when mixture of two or more isotope. There is an example of chlorine 35 and chlorine 37. Okay. The mass number of this chlorine is 35 and this is 37. So the natural abundance of chlorine is 75.77 and the natural abundance of chlorine 37 is 24.23. Now we have to calculate the AR, that is the relative atomic mass. So how will we do that? We take the mass number 35 multiply by 75.77 divided by 100 plus 37 multiplied by 24.23 divided by 100. This calculation known as the weighted average. Okay. So what is the answer? That is the 35.4846. That will be equal to 35.5. So chlorine has the relative atomic mass of, that's why chlorine has a relative atomic mass of 35.5. Okay. And the relative atomic mass of copper, I am writing here, the relative atomic mass of copper is 63.5. These are all the examples. Okay. Relative atomic mass of lithium is 7. Relative atomic mass of bromine is 80. Okay. So these are the examples. Now, next topic is relative molecular mass. What is relative molecular mass? Relative molecular mass of a molecule is the sum of relative atomic mass masses of atoms from which it is formed. Okay, the relative molecular mass is basically the of a molecule is the sum of the relative atomic masses of atom from which it is formed. For example, chlorine, that is Cl2. So having two molecules, this is two molecules. So 2 multiplied by 35.5 is equal to the 71. Okay, what about water? Hydrogen has two molecules and its relative atomic mass is 1. Plus oxygen has only one molecule and its relative atomic mass is 16. So that will be equal to 18. So 18 is the relative molecular mass of water. Okay. So this is about relative molecular mass. Now the relative formula mass. What is relative formula mass? It is basically the relative molecular mass of an ionic compound is the sum of the relative atomic mass of elements, in its formula. Okay, in its formula. It is the relative formula mass of an ionic compound is the sum of the relative atomic mass of element in its formula. Okay, for example, sodium has a relative atomic mass of 23 and chlorine has a relative atomic mass of 35.5. Okay, so what will be and in ionic form it is NaCl. Okay, it is Na plus and Cl minus. This is a relative formula Okay, so how we calculate the relative formula mass? 23, that is the relative atomic mass, plus 35.5. So that will be equal to the 58.5. This is a relative formula mass. So this is about the relative formula mass. We have covered the relative atomic mass, relative molecular mass and relative formula mass. I hope you understand all these terms. Okay. Okay, what is radioisotope? Radioisotope, as we have already studied, that it is unstable, eventually decay, form different elements and having short life of some, while the other having the life of thousands of years. For example, C14. Over time, C14 decay to form N14. Okay. So the isotope carbon 14 turns into the decay to form the N14. So the proton number of C14 is 6 and for N14 is 7, and the nucleon number is 14, and both for 14. Okay, it's not a chemical reaction, it's a nuclear reaction because the changes occur due to the nucleus of carbon 14 atom. Okay, what are the uses of this radioisotope? Okay, what are the uses of radioisotopes? It is used in medicines. Okay, in diagnosis of the diagnosis of radiotherapy and treatment of many diseases like cancer. And in radiotherapy, the treatment of cancer is basically carried out by P32 radioisotope and SR90. They are used, right? And for cancer, it's cobalt 60 is also used. Okay, for the treatment of cancer. And for traces for diagnosis and in medicines, use basically isotope is iodine. That will be iodine 131 is used for the thyroid gland. And is also used in the chemical reaction and structure determination. Radioisotope are used in it, that is C14, to label carbon dioxide. So it is used in chemical reaction as well. And it has also used in the power generation. Radioisotope used to generate electricity by controlled nuclear fission reaction in nuclear reactors, and for which uranium-235 is used. Okay. And it is radioisotope also used to estimate the age of fossils. So it has geological uses as well. Geological uses. Okay. So this is all about the radioisotopes. Thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe my channel, like the video and comment. Thank you.